Hello, hello, my love. I hope this finds you doing so well. Listen, it's pretty friggin' dreary out. So I think it's about time we talk about seasonal affective disorder here on the Tenderoni Hotline. And yeah, so let's do it. I've got some questions, I've got some answers. Let's cut to it because it's already like October, November. We should have talked about this like 2 months ago. I was busy putting a book out. What are you going to do? We're here now. Let's talk about it. Question one. What actually is seasonal affective disorder? Is this just the winter blues? And I forgot to say, I should have said this before I read the question, but that's cool. We're going to move with it. I asked a group from Anchored a couple years ago their questions about seasonal affective disorder. I answered them in Anchored. Anchored is my 6-month intensive, beautiful, amazing coaching program. It's like a really high-touch coaching program where we do breath work, we do dancing, we do a lot of somatics, body-based work, nervous system work to overcome our codependent, perfectionist, and people-pleasing habits. I love Anchored. It's my favorite place on earth. I asked the folks what they wanted to know about SAD. I answered there, and now I'm going to share with you. That's right. You're very lucky, and I love you. What is SAD? Is it just the winter blues? Answer is not quite. SAD is a clinically recognized form of depression that follows a seasonal pattern. So most people experience it in fall and winter, though some get it in the summer months. To be diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder, and I'm just going to call it SAD moving on because the other ways, it's just too much to say. These mood changes need to happen for at least 2 consecutive years during the same season and then improve when the season shifts. That's part of how diagnostically, like clinically, you know that it's SAD versus some other kind of sadness. So winter pattern SAD typically includes fatigue, low mood, irritability, oversleeping, carb cravings, weight gain, and social withdrawal. Summer pattern SAD is way less common and tends to show up as insomnia, anxiety, restlessness, and decreased appetite. Question: how do I know it's SAD and not just regular seasonal grumpiness? So SAD disrupts your daily functioning. That's what makes it a disorder. Your work performance, your relationships, your self-care. So it's more than just feeling annoyed that it's dark at 4 p.m. because that's understandable. Like it's annoying that it's dark at 4 p.m. I'm with ya. But it's really when it just F's up your life overarchingly. And the key trigger is light or the lack of it. So reduced sunlight throws off your circadian rhythm, thereby affects melatonin and serotonin production, which can also impact vitamin D levels. And as we know, vitamin D, which travels with its buddy K2, impacts so much in the body, immune system, all sorts of mood and energy stuff. So those are some important things to know about SAD. You are also way more likely to experience SAD if you are a woman, if you live far from the equator, or if you have a family history of depression. Women are diagnosed with SAD about 4 times more often than men, and that's likely due to hormonal factors. So estrogen fluctuations influence serotonin levels, and women tend to produce more melatonin during darker months, thus more sleepy pants. So what's happening in my brain when SAD hits? So your thoughts and mood feed off each other. With SAD, you might get stuck in loops like, this will never get better, or everything is friggin' pointless. And those patterns can spiral really quickly, especially when your energy is already depleted. And then you look out the window and it's dark when you wake up and it's dark at 4 a.m. So a key part of treatment is noticing those thought patterns early. I want to invite you to if you think this might be part of your life, notice those thoughts. Don't just let them go through your head, F up your day, and just like whisper away. Notice them, write them down, and then allow yourself to breathe into remembering a thought is just a thought and not objective truth. This is where we bring in thought work, right? The thought work that I teach is based on cognitive behavioral theory, CBT, the Stoics, that sort of way of thinking. And we can use that for SAD to help you identify thought distortions, like this is going to last forever, and replace them with more balanced perspectives, which then helps you take action even when you truly don't feel like it. Sometimes just asking yourself, would I say this to someone I care about, can shift your internal narrative. And that's so much of the work we do in thought work, is to shift our mindsets and how we're habitually thinking about a moment in time, an experience, a circumstance, a situation. I then, in my work, of course, bring in somatics and the nervous system, and would do some deep work around nervous system regulation, would bring in somatic experiencing to see what childhood stories or other moments of time might have impacted the way you're thinking about, feeling about, and experiencing the darker months. Next question, how do phones and screens factor into SAD? Well, they're complicated. So late night scrolling is generally and genuinely very, very unhelpful. So blue light from screens suppresses melatonin. So your pineal gland in your brain is looking for blue light, because what's blue light? It's daytime, right? If it's daytime, then you should be up, because who else is up? Lions. And what do lions like to do? They like to snack on us. They like to make us into lunch. So if there's blue light in the sky, sun's up, lion's up. Get up, up, up. So the blue light from your screen is enough to suppress the melatonin, disrupt your sleep, just really F up your sleep-wake cycles and keep you from getting that deep, lasting REM. Then add in doom scrolling and like the flashing light. So it's not just blue light, but it's all that quick movement. And then like the mind effers, like social media comparison, a steady stream of stressful, horrifying dumpster fire news. And like, of course you're feeding the rumination cycle. Of course you're spinning and spinning and spinning. And then poor sleep makes SAD symptoms way worse, right? So scrolling at night is really a very challenging thing, I think, for all of us, but especially when it comes to SAD. You know, I said it's complicated, right? Phones can also be useful. So mental health apps that teach CBT skills or offer guided mindfulness or meditations can provide real support. Simple reminders, turn on your light therapy lamp, get outside, reach to a friend. When those are like just boop, popping up on your phone, they can be ridiculously helpful, especially if you're challenged to maintain routines when your motivation is low, right? So having those reminders on your phone, lifeline. Digital connection through messages or online support groups can counter isolation. The key here, like in all things, is boundaries and limits, right? So screens off at night, but use them strategically during the day. If you know me and my work, I'm rarely going to be like, this is evil and bad, right? But when it comes to our health and wellness, but what I'm going to say is there's generally a middle ground or a middle path that it's optimal for us to walk. And when it comes to SAD and our phones, yeah, there's your middle path. All right, next question. What treatments are actually useful evidence-based for SAD? So light therapy and CBT are the most evidence-based approaches. So a 10,000 lux light box used for 20 to 30 minutes each morning can help to reset your circadian rhythm. And here is my light box. I'm covering the brand name up, but I have had this guy for 15 years. It is incredibly helpful. I really love it. This time of year, I will set it up in the kitchen. And when I go downstairs to put water on for mate, I'll turn the light on and I'll just shine it. I don't look right into it. Come on now. But I will let it shine on me for, 15, 20, 30 minutes each morning. And I actually start doing that in September, and I'll start doing it until the days get longer. And so, of course, like the timing of that is going to vary based on where you live. But if you live in somewhere as dreary as where I am temporarily living, you're really going to want to get a light box. And the thing I love is that they're not very expensive. I have two. One of them I got on Marketplace for like $10. So like you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can also get full spectrum light bulbs and just use a light you have, like a lamp, El Cheapo lamp. But I really do recommend the 10,000 lux lamp if you can swing it. Again, I got one for $10. I think this one, when I bought it new, was like 30, 40. So it's a good thing to invest in if you get the SADs. And, you know, even if you don't actually get the SAD, it can't hurt, right? Like having that full spectrum light on you in the morning is a good thing for motility That's right, for your pooping. It's a good thing for your mood, for your energy, for your sleep. Sleep is super vital for every function in the body, for liver detox, for a immune function, cancer suppression. I mean, sleep's wicked amazing. So I think a sad box all winter for folks in places where winter is dreary, highly recommend. Okay, so the two things that are evidence-based, the light box and CBT. So cognitive behavioral therapy or cognitive behavioral theory-based thought work like mine, and I will note, I'm always very clear on this. Yeah, I'll do a whole other episode about when to hire a coach versus a therapist. But if you are like in the doldrums, you're like in the depression with the sad, therapy. Coaching can be an adjuvant, but it's not for when you're like in it. Capiche? Listen, I'm a coach. I'm a nurse at the end of the day. I'm a nurse practitioner, so I'm not going to bite off more than I can chew. Right? You see what I'm saying? And I think we need to be very careful about that. But CBT in a thought work kind of framework with a coach can be helpful if it's like a low grade SAD. But if you're actually depressed, therapy, add coaching in as a side dish. You know what I mean? Wait, and when you feel better, coaching can become the main entree. Got it? Got it? Okay, great. So CBT for SAD addresses LMNOP. Just kidding. But it addresses both thought patterns and behavioral activation. So planning meaningful activities, even when you want to hide under the covers, changing your habitual thoughts so that you don't automatically go to worst case. That's what CBT can help with. Exercise, movement. And if you're like, oh, exercise, forget about it. Put on Gloria Estefan and dance, right? Movement is incredibly powerful, especially outdoors in morning light, if possible. And if you don't have morning light lamp. Mindfulness and grounding practices help you to become your own watcher, which we talked about in episode 234 back in 2019. Helps you to step into being your watcher so you can observe difficult thoughts without getting pulled into them. Many people choose antidepressants if that is a thing that you're into and that works for you. Also, quick primary care provider note, if you've tried several antidepressants and they haven't done what you want them to do and you want to keep using that class of medication, there are genetic tests that can help you to pinpoint which one may work best for you. So I wanted to throw that little gem out there. If you are vitamin D deficient, supplementation can help, though it's not a standalone treatment. And vitamin D3 should always be taken with vitamin K2. And luckily, those come in a combined pill these days. And if your vitamin D is wicked low, ask your primary care to test it. There is prescription vitamin D3, which, like, that's groovy, right? Okay, next. Can I get ahead of SAD before it takes over? Yes. And please do. It makes a really real difference. So again, start before the season fully shifts. Listen, this episode should have come out in September. I was a little busy encouraging you to buy your copy of End Emotional Outsourcing, How to Overcome Your Codependent Perfectionist and People-Pleasing Habits, which came out on September 30th. So listen, Mama was busy, but we're here now. We're doing the best we can, right? What are we here to do? We're here to release the perfectionism. So let's release it. You're hearing this episode now. Get your sun lamp now. Get your D3, you know, let's do the best we can now. And next year, let's do it earlier. Okay. But what I mean is not like, let's tell some fantasy about, let's do it earlier. Stop, grab your phone and put it on your calendar. I'm going to grab a date, September 15th. September 15th, you're going to get your sun lamp out, put it on your desk or by your coffee maker. You're going to get your vitamin D3 checked. And just even if it hasn't gotten cold and rainy and yucky and gray sky, just start it anyway. Just start it. Okay? Because we need to, it's about building routines. And that's the thing that takes a hot minute. So building routines that include light exposure, daily movement, social connection, do not hibernate, and structure. And listen, don't come at me. I have the ADHD. I have an allergy to structure. And structure can be really helpful here. And I can get into more nuance later about what that means, but setting up the things so that taking care of yourself is more and more easier. Like putting the sun lamp, one on your desk and one by the coffee maker, putting your D3, next to your toothbrush so you take it right before bed. Like structure. And structure like on Thursdays, Emily and Elena come over and we do embroidery. You see what I'm saying? Like structure so it's not January and you're like, I work from home and I haven't seen anyone other than the cat in 3 months. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. So really what it is think of it as preparing your nervous system for winter the way you'd prep your home or your wardrobe. Like you'd make sure that you have really thick, comfy socks and your boots don't have a hole in them. And if you live somewhere you have to drive, that you have winter tires on. Capiche? Because the thing is, when you anticipate the seasonal shift and put supports in place proactively, you can reduce the severity and duration of symptoms. SAD is treatable, and with the right tools, you can stay connected to yourself and others through the darker months. And that's what really matters. Because SAD sucks, but getting really lonely is absolutely terrible for your health, for your wellness, especially in this political climate. So get ahead of it. When should I actually seek professional help is our next question. And you know, this is an incredibly important question, right? So please get thee to care if symptoms are interfering with your activities of daily living, your work, your relationships, your basic self-care. That's the time. If you're feeling hopeless, numb, if you're having thoughts of self-harm, my beauty, seek help immediately. Please don't wait for it to pass on its own because it might not. And if it is the SAD and it's SAD out, what's going to make it pass? I'm waiting. My beauty, my love, my darling, early intervention leads to better outcomes across the board. So a thorough evaluation can rule out other conditions that mimic SAD, like thyroid disorders, anemia, other vitamin deficiencies, perimenopause, which require different treatment approaches. So get to care, get evaluated, get taken care of. Is there a difference between SAD and just having a harder time in winter? Again, yeah. So plenty of people feel a bit lower energy or less motivated in winter. I think we're supposed to. That's normal seasonal variation. We're supposed to hibernate a bit. SAD is diagnosed when the pattern is consistent over multiple years and significantly impairs your functioning. Symptoms are also more severe and persistent throughout the season, not just on particularly gray days. If you're unsure whether what you're experiencing crosses a line into SAD, it's worth talking to a healthcare provider. Getting clarity is super valuable either way, right? You deserve that. What about dawn simulators or other light-based tools? So dawn simulators, alarm clocks that gradually brighten to mimic sunrise, can definitely be helpful for some people, especially if waking up in darkness is particularly difficult. However, they're generally not as effective as dedicated light therapy boxes because they don't provide the same intensity of light, right? So that's really the thing. Light therapy boxes need to be positioned correctly. So usually at eye level, about 16 to 24 inches away and used consistently. So the timing matters too. 10,000 lux, morning use is most effective for resetting circadian rhythms. Some people see improvement within a few days, while others need a few weeks, which is why, once again, start early. Whether you actually have SAD or just want the support, start the light early. Can lifestyle changes alone manage SAD, or do I need professional treatment? Well, the answer depends on severity. Mild symptoms might very well respond to lifestyle changes, prioritizing morning light, regular sleep schedules, exercising/movement, staying socially connected. But moderate to severe SAD typically requires professional support or treatment. Think of it this way. So lifestyle changes are really important vital supports, but they are not sufficient on their own if your symptoms are significantly affecting your life. And darling, there's no reason to tough it out alone when effective treatments exist. Combining professional treatment with lifestyle supports tend to give the best results. I generally say across the board. Does SAD ever go away, or is it something I'll deal with every year, forever? So who knows, right? Because humans is complex, and SAD is often a recurring condition, but it doesn't mean every winter will be the same. With proper treatment, support, and preventive strategies, so many people see significant improvement. Some people's symptoms lessen over time, especially with consistent, appropriate, really good management. The good news is that once you know your pattern and have effective tools in place for you, you can often catch it early and minimize its impact. So it becomes less about whether it will happen and more about how well you can manage it when it does. One of the things that I find most supportive is knowing what's going on. Because when you know what's going on, that element of like scariness can go away. And so then you can just actually deal with what's going on without your mind wandering off to like worst case scenario so much. All right, my beauties, I hope this was supportive. SAD's a real bummer, and they're really important supports that you can give yourself. I didn't mention morning and evening ritual, but I think that's really important. Making life cozy is really important. And remembering that we're supposed to like downshift in the winter, I find super helpful. The summer, the spring, the summer, those are times for running around, for doing, going out and yay. And you know what I mean? Like going to the beach. And winter is a time for snuggles and the couch and roasts. God, I love roasting veggies. Roast your dinner. Make a soup. Have some tea. Put some honey in. Put a little lemon in there. But like, get cozy. And let winter be slower while also doing things like sun lamps and vitamin D and connecting with friends so it doesn't go from cozy to isolating to sad. All right? All right, my beauties, I hope this was supportive. Thank you for tuning in to the Tenderoni Hotline. We'll get back to your questions next week. This just felt really important to share. And of course, there'll be an episode on Thursday as usual. Can't wait to share that with you. If you are enjoying the show, please follow, give it a 5-star rating and review. And if you liked the book, listen. A review on Amazon and Goodreads is really important. The sooner the better. For a new author like me, it really helps get the book into libraries, which is my goal. So thank you for helping me to help the world. Let's do what we do. Gentle hand on your heart should you feel so moved. And remember, you are safe. You are held. You are loved. And when one of us heals, we help heal the world. Be well, beauty. Mwah! Go get a sun lamp. Ciao.